Get me back to the St. Joe Country Club. Man, that place is a beauty. Good morning at 6:04. It's great to have you here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. We are always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app. So last night I was up with the Missouri GOP. They were holding a massively successful fundraiser that was being sponsored by the Herzog Foundation. They gave out many awards. You had a packed house up at the St. Joe Country Club. And I'll tell you what, man, I don't get out and play a lot of golf anymore. If I do, I'm usually tagging along with a 6-year-old who's learning the game for 9 holes. I'm a 9-hole golfer these days. That's really all I need. I get to about hole 13, 14, and I get kind of bored and antsy. So I like 9. But I get to that St. Joe Country Club, and it looks like Southern Hills in Tulsa, where they played the PGA Championship a few years back. That's exactly what I thought of when I pulled up to that place. What a hidden gem that is up in St. Joe. And it's technically not in St. Joe. It's just over the county border in Andrew County, Missouri, up to our north. But that is beautiful country up there. I don't get up there a whole lot, but we have, I know, a lot of listeners up there. 95.7 comes in loud and clear up in St. Joe. And, of course, 710 a.m. has always had a good signal up to the north. So thank you for the hospitality. Thank you to the Missouri GOP. And it was great to see a lot of friends, familiar faces. Our good buddy Chris DeGaulle was there last night on behalf of the Herzog Foundation as well. So Michael Ryan, formerly with the Kansas City Star, he's still in recovery mode after having to work at the Star for all those years. But he's hanging tough. He's doing well. And they've got a great operation up there. So it was put on by the Missouri GOP. And it was interesting because it's almost like there were settled scores, kumbaya moments happening last night within old, fragmented factions of the Missouri GOP. Peter Kinder runs the state party. He beat Bill Eigel for that earlier this year. And they gave Brad Lager, who runs Herzog's Foundation, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And these two guys were bitter rivals going back to 2012 when they ran against each other for lieutenant governor. And it got pretty nasty. And to see these guys, basically arm in arm, smiling, taking the friendly jab at each other as well, but doing it on behalf of the party going into a big 2026 year for the Missouri GOP was actually great to see. Because too much in politics, you see people trying to settle scores and holding grudges and things like that. And in many respects, last night was like 15 years of angst finally coming to an end and people putting down their guard and just realizing it's not about us. It's about the party. It's about our movement. It's about winning next year. And that's what last night was in St. Joe. A big, successful fundraiser on behalf of the Missouri Republican Party. And it was a huge home run. A ton of money was raised last night. And it was great to see everybody kind of moving in the same direction compared to, unfortunately, what we've seen more of on the Kansas side, which is either directionless or everybody just infighting over what the direction should be. So that was a breath of fresh air and gave me a lot of optimism going into last night as well and coming out of last night. Had a long drive home, though, getting back from St. Joe. Got home, got right into bed, and then I saw a lot of people on social media talking about this story, and I actually have some intel on this story that came my way last night in talking to a couple of people in St. Joe and then also on the phone on the way home. And the story is here from Axios. Ted Cruz sets the stage for a 2028 run with Tucker Jabs, that referring to Tucker Carlson. Says here, Texas Senator Ted Cruz is laying the groundwork for a 2028 presidential bid by leaning into his feud with Tucker Carlson and staking out turf as a traditional pro-interventionalist Republican. And I saw the story and I'm like, what are we doing here? 2028? Can you get me through a midterm first? I mean, can we take a step back and worry about 2026? Who's talking about 2028? So I made some calls on the way home last night, And the general consensus was one of two things. Either Ted can't help himself because Ted likes talking about Ted, and Ted wants people talking about Ted. Or part two here is that this was a planted story by somebody who wants to kind of hurt Ted and get ahead of Ted and kind of knock Ted before he can maybe get some traction, even though this stuff is 2+ years away. And both theories made sense to me because we know that Ted likes the spotlight. We know that he likes to see himself on TV. We understand all of that. But it also wouldn't shock me if there were people involved in maybe J.D. Vance's camp or elsewhere who would want this story out there. Because if you're being talked about right now for 2028, you're not doing it the right way. Okay, this is like not something you should want to have happen if you're Ted Cruz. Trying to basically say, yeah, I think I'm going to run for president, and I'm going to run against Tucker Carlson? Like, trust me, I question what the heck's going on with Tucker. I really do. As someone who used to watch him every night and had a lot of respect, I question what the heck's going on there. But running against a guy like Tucker Carlson who's not going to run himself, what's the point of that?
No kidding. I'm kind of with you there on the takes that he's been having recently, but we got plenty of time for some more, right?
Yeah.
So you never know what you would be running against.
Well, that's true, too. We're just scratching the surface, right? And just when you think he's going one way, he zags the other way. So be careful what you wish for on that front. So none of it made any sense to me. And I see all the political insiders are like, whoa, Ted Cruz laying the foundation for a 28 run. It's like, Ted should not want this out there. So I lean towards the belief that this was leaked by somebody who wants to hurt Ted, who doesn't want Ted to get any kind of traction. But then in talking to other people about this very topic last night, something else was made very clear to me. If you think that J.D. Vance is going to waltz in with the nomination, you're kidding yourself. And I'm a big J.D. Vance fan. I'm just saying there are going to be a lot of people when that time comes, after the 26 midterms, who are going to be licking their chops to make a run for the White House on the GOP side. That's what's going to happen. And I know that, Trump may kind of try to cobble this thing together and say, it's JD, it's Marco, let's make it happen. Let's kind of have unity. But you know what? That is a long time away. And if the midterms don't go well, if it ends up being a bloodbath, then it's going to be wide open. If the Republicans can hang on tough in the midterms and maybe just, if they could squeak out a win in the House, that would be amazing. But if they can hold on to the Senate and not get blasted in the House, then that gives Trump more power and more leverage to build the party as he sees fit for 28. But if he doesn't, and if they get blasted next year, then it is going to be an absolute free-for-all. It's going to be 2016 all over again. You're going to get 16 folks in there who are going to want to be running for president of the United States. And, I mean, it'll be good for us, but it'll be chaotic, John.
It'll be the Kansas governor race all over.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be the Kansas governor's race, which we've got coming up next year, which already is getting crazy in and of itself, right? I mean, you've got a lot going on right now with Laura Kelly coming out yesterday with her endorsement of Ethan Corson in Northeast Johnson County. So there's a lot happening on all of these fronts, and it was fascinating to kind of go behind the curtain a little bit last night and see what some of the power players and top individuals were thinking about what's to come here locally and then also what's to come nationwide in the wake of some of that news yesterday. Now, in the meantime, here in Kansas City, we are expecting 650,000 people coming into town for the World Cup. I'm still not sure I buy the numbers, but the point is a lot of people are going to be coming in. Many will be foreigners. How are they going to get here? The president has unveiled a new plan we'll share with you next on KCMO. It will be dubbed the FIFA Pass, and it will allow those who have purchased World Cup tickets through FIFA to get expedited visa appointments as the administration tries to figure out how to get potentially millions of people into the country next year for soccer matches, while also, of course, making sure that the borders are secure. Pete Mundo on KCMO. Happy Tuesday. Glad you're here on 95.7 FM. We've got Parker McCollum tickets. He's coming to Kansas City next year. We'll give those away at 8:15. Tirade Tuesday coming up at 8:35. So the way that this is framed by NBC News is fascinating to me. They write here, dubbed the FIFA Pass, it will allow those who have purchased World Cup tickets through FIFA to get expedited visa appointments as the administration continues to balance President Trump's tough on migration stance with an influx of global travelers for the soccer tournament. So they write this as if nobody has traveled to the United States since Trump came to the White House. Like, no one's come here for tourism, whether it's in Kansas City or New York City or L.A. Like, the country's just been off limits. There have been no flights coming from the U.K., from China, from Japan, from anywhere, John. No one's come here since Trump took over.
You would think they would consult the ridership status on the train, on our tram here.
That's right.
Clearly, there's an impact.
Oh, my goodness. Like, I'm watching and reading these stories about this FIFA pass. And yes, Trump has shut down the border. But the people coming to the World Cup are not the people who are, jumping through the Rio Grande at 2 a.m. Okay, it's a different audience here. Okay, guys? Please.
Unless the terrorists are soccer fans.
You're right. You got to be careful about that, Mark. That's a good point. And unless the drug lords are using their drug money to go buy FIFA passes at Arrowhead, for $1,000 a pop, which honestly, with the way these prices are going, I may have to get into drug dealing to afford the tickets next summer. Just saying. It's expensive.
Maybe pricing y'all out of the market.
Yeah, maybe that's the point, too. But they talk about this like no international person has been to the United States since Trump got to, the White House back in January. But they write here that Trump said yesterday he is strongly encouraging World Cup travelers to the U.S. to apply for their visas right away. The administration has dispatched more than 400 additional officers around the world to handle the demand for visas, and that in about 80% of the globe, travelers to the U.S. can get a visa appointment within 60 days. If you are spending the money and you have the disposable income to come to the United States for the World Cup, come to Kansas City, spend potentially upwards of a couple of weeks here. Stay in our hotels, eat the food, travel around, airfare, tickets. I mean, these are not poor people from third world countries, right? These are going to be dignitaries from around the world. These are going to be the upper echelon, the upper class of those countries coming to watch their favorite soccer team play. That's who it's going to be, John.
Using an appropriate analogy, you would say it's not their first rodeo.
No, yeah, that is very true. I mean, when I was at the Ryder Cup a couple of months ago there in New York for that golf tournament, there were plenty of Europeans doing their dopey chants and drinking all their beer and getting sloppy by the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, that was like a little prep for the World Cup. They're coming here. They know how to get here. But because of the immigration policy of the Trump administration, the way it's going to be framed is, first off, if we don't get the tourism we expect right away, people are going to be like, they were afraid to come because of Trump. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to get home. No, please, if you want to leave, they make it very easy to leave right now, right? That they could not make it easier to leave this country right now if they tried. So they're happy to have you go. And then the other part of it is, well, it just got too complicated. They just can't stand people from other countries and immigrants and things like that. So people decided they weren't going to come to the World Cup. That is not true. We are a year out. And you've got the administration literally laying the foundation for people who want to come here next summer to do what they have to do, get their visas, come here, have a good time, and go home. They're doing that today. And I was talking to somebody involved with the World Cup for Kansas City, and what they told me is that Rudy Giuliani's kid, Andrew, is kind of in charge of this. And I remember when that news came out, I think it was a few months ago. Andrew Giuliani is kind of overseeing all the World Cup stuff for the administration. And people here have been pretty impressed with him, and he's been impressed with Kansas City. Apparently, he was supposed to come here in the last few weeks, but the shutdown forced him out of his travel. So he's still planning a trip to Kansas City. And what I'm hearing is that he believes Kansas City is actually ahead of the curve in our preparation and what we're doing. And trust me, that's not because of the politicians. That's because of the business people that we've got involved with KC 2026. Nothing to do with Kansas City or Laura Kelly or Mike Kehoe. I mean, they're all doing what they're supposed to do, but basically they just had to write the check on behalf of the taxpayer. It's the people involved with KC 2026, the business folks, who are actually making this thing work and will make this thing work here in Kansas City. Now, we've joked about what countries we may end up getting because that's going to be decided sometime next month is when we learn what countries end up coming to Kansas City. And I saw this story last night. Haiti's World Cup hopes surge after a 1-0 win over Costa Rica. So Haiti has not been to the World Cup in many decades. I think I saw 1970-something was the last time Haiti was in a World Cup. 1974. But they are on the verge of potentially finding themselves in a World Cup. They move into second place in goal differential in their little group that they've got to, compete against, tied with Honduras in points. With the win, Haiti sits in second place in Group C with 8 points, tied with Honduras, occupying the final direct qualifying spot. A win against Nicaragua would automatically send Haiti to the World Cup if Honduras drops points to Costa Rica. If Honduras wins the match, Haiti would still finish second and advance to the Intercontinental Playoffs, regardless of the result against Nicaragua. You guys ready for Haiti coming to Kansas City? Let's go! Woo! This is what it's all about.
I saw there was congratulations on the KC 2026 Twitter for Germany and Netherlands so far.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm looking into anything over here.
Well, Clark Hunt would have a cow if he gets Germany here, right? He would just be on cloud nine.
He's been prepping for this.
You know what it would take? Clark will say, you know what? I'll take Haiti if you give me Germany. All right? It's like a trade or a draft. I'll take the redheaded stepchild who, let's be honest, if Haiti comes, no one's coming from Haiti, okay? But if you give me Germany, I'll take Haiti as well. I'll do it.
The Germans will make up for it.
Yeah, well, trust me. They'll make up for it, John.
Yeah, club representatives have been to town. They look at the 3 facilities that we're providing, and they all kind of put in where they might want to go.
Yeah.
And then we'll have that selection later, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be happening.
Like a lottery thing.
Next month, I believe, is when that'll all be decided. So keep an eye out on Haiti. All right, world beaters coming to Kansas City. Get them on the streetcar. It's going to be a great time. 913-408-7957 is how you join us on 95.7 FM KCMO. We're always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app as well as we roll through a busy Tuesday morning here on KCMO. So X was down. If you're normally someone who wakes up, listens to KCMO, catches up on the news, scrolling through X, well, just know X was down for the entire 5 o'clock hour, but it's back up. We're rocking and rolling. I want to hear from the early morning folks who may work in the car industry on the manufacturing side. There is a massive shortage. There are alarm bells being sent off. What is actually going on? We'll hear from you and get you the story next. So Trump got smoked from the left and the right last week for something he said about workers in this country, but he's getting some backup from a very important CEO. And that is the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, who sat down with a podcast here in the last couple of days to talk about a bunch of issues, including the U.S. workforce. So let's go back to last week. Fox News, the president of the United States sat down with Laura Ingraham, and here's what he said about H-1B visas.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
That got Trump, I believe, in a world of hurt last week. And that was fair criticism. Even if he's got a point where, we have to bring in some people with H-1B visas to work certain targeted jobs, saying we don't have talent here in the United States, that's really not what people want to hear, left or right. There's not a lot that everyone agrees on, but that line, we don't have any talent. No. We are Americans. We are the greatest country in the history of mankind. We are proud to be Americans. If you want to make the pitch of, hey, we've been set back decades due to our education system. We don't have the skill sets that we need at the scale that we need. We've got to fix that, and we're going to work on that. In the meantime, to close the gap, we need some of these folks to come in and help out some of these companies. That's different than just saying, no, there's no talent here. Come on, what are you doing? There's no talent around here. So you had the Ford CEO, Jim Farley, sit down on this podcast, and he says that there are over 1 million unfilled positions in the mechanic sector, emergency services, factory worker, plumber, electrician, and trucking job. 1 million unfilled positions. He went on to tell the podcast, The Essential Economy, we are in trouble as a country. We are not talking enough about this. It's a very serious thing. We don't have trade schools. We are not investing in education for the next generation. Farley went on to say that the jobs that allowed his grandfather to build a middle-class life and raise a family are available in abundance. But U.S. workers are not adequately trained to do those jobs. He says that at Ford, he has 5,000 openings for mechanics alone. Now, it's not my space. If you put me in a mechanic shop, I would probably blow the whole place up. It would not be pretty.
There's something wrong with them.
I mean, it's not my skill set, okay? I know my lane, and mechanic is not it. I changed a couple of outlets over the weekend. I used a 4-year-old to help me, and she might have done more of the heavy lifting than I did. That shows you my skill set. But I know where my limitations are. Those of you in that line of work, I'm just wondering how bad it actually is. Because we also know that we have people who have gotten illegal driver's licenses and have gone out there and become, truckers. We've seen stories of that here in Kansas and Missouri and also around the country. So that has been problematic as well. 913-408-7957. Farley, the CEO of Ford, said, we've got bays with a lift and tools and no one's working on it. It's a $120,000 a year job, but it takes you 5 years to learn how to do it. Take a diesel out of a Super Duty, it takes a lot of skill. You need to know what you're doing. And then the other part of this conversation is, okay, we've talked a lot about trade schools on this show. We've talked a lot about how to promote them, how to get people to want to do them. But also, how do you dissuade? How do we get the high schools to dissuade people and talk them out of going into a lot of debt for these 4-year degrees? How do you do that? Because these schools actually benefit from getting people into these 4-year colleges. That makes them look good. So if there's a way to disincentivize them from looking better if they get these kids into these 4-year schools and say, no, you know what? You're great in shop. You should not be in a 4-year school. You don't need to be getting a 4-year degree, going into $100,000 in debt for marketing, and then coming out and having absolutely nothing to show for it. You don't need to do that. And there's still too much of that going on. I believe there's less of that going on, but there's still way too much of that going on, John.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad you said there's less of it. I think the dime here, the word turning here, the worm is turning, whatever, something's turning, the Queen Mary. So I think the message gets out there and people are starting to realize you can go into, the IBEW, you can go into a trade, you can go into I think VoTech's still out there by Raytown South. The Grandview School District used to send kids there, and they would go over to Joseph Herndon VoTech. What's the name of it at the time?
Well, that's great. I mean, more of that, the merrier. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about, and that's what people.
Broadmoor for Shawnee Mission.
They've got to be doing it, but we can't sit here with thousands of open jobs, up to 1 million open jobs when you cross the sectors on a large scale, and not have the bodies to do it. Because then Trump's point is well taken. When he goes, these companies can't hire. And while it's not what I want to hear, I disagreed with the statement last week when he said it, more so in terms of how he said it than what exactly he was saying. But you got to look at it and say, okay, where and how do we find the people here in the United States? And the problem is we get here and it takes 50 years to get here. And then we expect somebody to unravel it in 5 months. And that's also not fair. Because there are so many different factors at play, right? You've got obviously a growing welfare state, 42 million people on food stamps. Why bother trying to get a skill set if you can just jump on the government dole and have a grand old time? You have people pushing towards 4-year degrees. If they are wanting to get an education, they don't want to do the air quotes, blue collar work anymore. And we still don't value these jobs like we should. And it's been decades of people not wanting to do them. So we're 30 years behind the curve on this stuff. You're not going to dig out of it in 3 months or even 3 years. It's going to take you a long time to turn this thing around. And that's what I think Trump is realizing. And I think people in the industry are realizing as well. And that's where the H-1B visa conversation gets into the equation. 913-408-7957 is the text line and the studio line, although it looks like the text line is down for me. Can't get the text line going.
I think everything's down again. It's an Amazon Web Service thing.
Oh, my. Is that what's going
Twitter's
on?
back down again, I think, too.
So we've got another Amazon outage, Amazon Web outage? We had that a couple of weeks ago, right? Amazon Web Services, which obviously, powers a lot of the major websites around the country and around the world, was down 3 weeks ago. Are you guessing on that, Mark, or have you seen that story pop up here the last few minutes?
I looked it up, yeah.
So we've got another Amazon Web Services outage.
Mm-hmm. A lot of websites down, yeah.
All right. Let's get Bezos on this. A lot of websites are down, including our text line, including X, and a lot of other major news sites also. Because if your website is carried on the Amazon cloud, then that's how you get to a place where you're screwed right now. 913-408-7957. So we got to do it the old-fashioned way. All right, there's some breaking news. How about that? Amazon Web Services, down. You know who's not down, though? The old school radio. We're not down. We're here. We're rocking and rolling on 95.7 FM and also on 710 AM as we roll through it on a busy Tuesday morning. That's a great point by Bill O'Reilly. When's the last time anybody actually thought about or got mainstream attention with Seth Meyers? I mean, Bueller? And then Trump's calling for the guy to be fired 2 nights ago on his Truth Social. It's like Trump got Seth Meyers more attention than Seth Meyers could get himself over a year's time. Like that show, and these shows are losing their relevancy every day, but especially Seth, because he's on the Late Late Show, right? Like he's on after Fallon, as I understand it, correct? I mean, it shows you what I know.
Yeah. They're all rushing for their street cred. I better get on the list. Well, that's still important or relevant, right? Seemingly.
Yeah. Oh, he would love the Kimmel treatment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Like, this is what I think Trump gets worked up here on this stuff, and then it's like, bro, you're actually kind of maybe helping his ratings in a roundabout way. You say he's a ratings nightmare, he hates Trump, TDS, all these different things. It's like, no one watches it. No one sees this stuff. I don't even know why Trump does. Just like, turn off the TV, watch a basketball game, watch a baseball, but watch a football game. Don't watch Seth Meyers. I guess totally irrelevant. I can't tell you the last time I heard anybody say anything about Seth Meyers.
There's 2.5 Men reruns, Modern Family. You can catch up on some series.
All that stuff is better than watching Seth Meyers.
No kidding.
The best thing about Seth Meyers was recently when the NBA brought that new music or that music back from back in the 90s, because that was in his time slot, I think. Opening night, 10 o'clock, they had a late primetime game.
Oh, so they blew him out?
So they blew him out for that. A couple NBA games. That probably helped his ratings.
You know, I would just listen to the NBA and NBC theme song for an hour straight over watching Seth Meyers.
Exactly.
And then, that's not a hard pitch at all to me. Speaking of TV, I know a lot of you were just commenting on Mike White, who I recall from the School of Rock. And I said he looks like Ethan Corson, who's received the Laura Kelly endorsement. But, I just Googled him, and a lot of you wrote this on the text line saying that he's the creator of The White Lotus. He looks better now than he did 20 years ago in School of Rock. In School of Rock, he looked like he was 40 going on 60, but now he looks younger than he did in School of Rock in some respects. He was kind of had the comb-over thing going, kind of awkward, had older features, and now he looks better than he did 20 years ago. He's aging well. Maybe it's money, too. The Hollywood money. Hit it big, and that'll solve a lot of problems as well. But either way, I just can't now look at this guy, Ethan Corson, and not see Mike White from School of Rock. Ned. Oh, my gosh. It's going to be a fun 10 months. It really is. So this is something that we've never seen in any polling. What I'm about to share with you is the first time in NBC News polling across 5 different violent incidents that there has been bipartisan agreement blaming extreme rhetoric from political and media figures. Here's the poll. More than 6 in 10 registered voters said they think, quote, extreme political rhetoric was an important contributor to the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk earlier this year, including majorities of Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Overall, 61% of respondents said they feel that extreme political rhetoric used by some of the media and by political leaders was an important contributor to Kirk's killing. Republicans blame that rhetoric, obviously, by the widest margin, 73-19. But independents were 53-28, and even Democrats were 54-34. Much more likely to blame extreme political rhetoric as a factor than to discount it. NBC News writes here, the findings represent a grim milestone in America's reckoning with growing political violence and its root causes. The survey marks the first time across questioning 5 different violent incidents over 15 years of NBC News polling that there has been cross-partisan agreement that rhetoric played an important role in an attack, as opposed to the incident having been more about the actions of a single disturbed person. Now, NBC calls this a grim milestone. I don't. I think this is fantastic. And what I mean by that is I think it's great that even Democrats acknowledge that the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and to their credit, they acknowledge it by a 20-point margin, was in large part driven by political rhetoric. And, you know, you may look at that and say, well, you know, they've been doing this for a long time. Okay, but acknowledging that in this case, at least, your side of the political aisle has said heinous things about individuals, including Charlie Kirk, that will drive crazed people to commit heinous acts is something that is good to acknowledge, right? The first step is admitting you've got a problem. That's how I read into this poll. It's at least 54% of people admitting that they've got a problem or their side has a problem when it comes to political rhetoric. So I'm glad that this poll showed the results that it did. And it's something that I look as potentially a breakthrough moment with normal people. There's always going to be crazies out there. I mean, trust me, I've seen a lot of this and I've gotten a lot of this firsthand over the last 24 hours. You know, I put up that photo of 8 people on the street corner in Johnson County on Sunday afternoon protesting and doing their own No Kings rally, like literally 8 people on the street corner. I posted this on Facebook on Sunday. It went viral, gotten thousands of reactions and responses. And I've got like a dozen new recommendations on Facebook. I'm putting up my air quotes here of people basically claiming I'm a pedo because I said the protesters looked like total goofballs. It's like, don't get me wrong. Those people are still out there. Okay, I don't deny that for a second. But I'll give credit where it's due. Now we just need the normies to come around and take control. And that's hard to do because the craziness online is always going to lean to the most extreme. And that's problematic. I got a minute. Jonathan in Kansas City, it is yours.
Yeah, Pete, the devil's in the details, especially with polling, you know, and it depends on how that question was asked. Okay, are you blaming rhetoric for violence like this? People could say, yeah, I blame the rhetoric. Now, the question is, do they blame rhetoric on their own side, or is it, no, there was rhetoric on the other side, and that's what made this crazy murderer do what he did? Like, I don't see, I think you need more specifics on that.
Well, here's why I'm optimistic, though, because if that was true, then in any of their other previous polls over 15 years, at some point, they would have come to the same conclusion, and it would have been people blaming rhetoric on the other side. But it's the first time in NBC News polling history that all political parties and independents are blaming rhetoric itself.
I wonder if they asked the question the same way they did to the previous times in the last 15 years. That would be something interesting to find out.
Yes, and I will try to do that, Jonathan. Thank you, my man. It's a good point, though. I'm glad you brought it up. I am glad you brought it up. I saw this yesterday. I was surprised. I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. Alex Gordon made the 2026 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot yesterday, joining 12 new candidates among a total of 27 people on the ballot. Now, Alex Gordon, of course, 14 Major League Baseball seasons with the Royals, 8 Gold Gloves, 3 All-Star appearances. He's a Royals Hall of Famer, no doubt. But when I think Hall of Fame, I want top of the top, super exclusive. I don't want the guys that you're like, well, was he really a Hall of Famer? I mean, these are the best of the best. I've always been the kind of person who believes that the Hall of Fame should be incredibly difficult and only for the top of the top. And I'm sorry, but that's not Alex Gordon. It's not. And Mark was trying to convince me during the break that I should be an Alex Gordon Hall of Fame kind of guy, but I'm not there, Mark. I can't do it.
I was going to say, I'm the biggest Alex Gordon fan. He was my favorite player for the Royals for probably like 7 years, but I don't know if I would give him the Hall of Fame.
No. You wouldn't. You can say it. You can say, Mark, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just say it.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Thank you. Doesn't that
hate
feel
saying
good?
it,
Just get it off your chest. Alex Gordon is not a Hall of Famer, John. He's not.
Is this his first year?
Yes.
See, that's kind of the thing. They put the guys up for discussion, and I'm looking at the rest of the list. I'm going, well, he's as good as most of these guys here, but I don't know about being in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's certainly one of the guys, but I don't know if he was ever the guy. It always seemed like one other guy on the team was leading the way.
And you know
what?
what?
Right there.
Even if he was the guy, those stats are not Hall of Fame stats.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, and if you're going to tell me, well, he's got a bunch of Gold Gloves, unless you're Ozzie Smith, I don't think defense can really get you into the Hall of Fame. I just don't believe that. Especially when, with all due respect, I mean, winning Gold Gloves at third base or left field, it's not shortstop. All right? I mean, that's the one. It's not center field. If I put Gold Gloves as a qualifier for Hall of Fame, it better be center field or shortstop. It can't be third base or left field. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Well, I see Beltran's on here. Clearly not as a Royal. He had a career after that. But even him, I'm on like, as a Royal sentiment,
No.
I'm not sure about him either.
He's not, and
Great players.
Great players.
Absolutely great players.
Really, really, really good player. Not an all-timer, not a Hall of Famer. No way. I would not put Carlos Beltran
They could be on the
in the Hall of Fame.
screened porch of fame right outside the hall.
Yeah.
As being close.
And Beltran, I mean, he had a much better career than Alex Gordon did. When you look at the total package, 9-time All-Star, he had better numbers than Gordon did. 435 homers, 2,700 hits. He had Gold Gloves as well. And he at least could look at center field and say, well, you might give him a little bit of juice. He's among 5 players to total at least 27 hits, 400 home runs, and 300 stolen bases. The only other players who did that, Barry Bonds, Andre Dawson, Willie Mays, and Alex Rodriguez. And I still wouldn't put Beltran in the Hall of Fame.
He might be in a little trouble with that trash can situation,
Well,
too.
that's true. Baseball gets so sanctimonious with that stuff. I mean, they get all high and mighty on the nonsense, so that I would agree that probably hurts him. But either way, I don't think Beltran's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So I'd say
Torrey Hunter. I see Torrey Hunter on here.
there's a throwback.
Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Good players.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see A-Rod on here. I think there's a question about whether he's slightly overrated, but I would think he would get in A-Rod and Manny Ramirez for sure.
A-Rod gets in. Manny gets in.
Maybe
guy,
3 or 5 off of this list. But
David Wright's on there. He's not a Hall of Famer.
yeah.
So, Mark, I know you have this now as an excuse to play one of your favorite moments in Royals history.
Oh, yeah, so good.
And you just want to rip on me while you're at it. Let's go back to the 2015 World Series, Royals and Mets, Game 1. Mark was there in the K with his oldest daughter. Roll it.
Gordon in the air to center. Back at the wall. This game is tied.
There I am in the upper deck.
Oh, man. So remind me.
Some concrete just fell.
There was that concrete cancer, early stages 10 years ago. It was only stage 1 back then.
That was the same game where Esky hit an inside the park home run to lead off the game.
I remember that too. Yeah. So that was what? Bottom 9. Jeurys Familia was pitching for the Mets.
Yep.
And what happened? He quick pitched Gordon?
He quick pitched Gordon. He hadn't given up a home run since before the All-Star break that season.
Yep.
And then Gordon hits a home run in Game 1 of the World Series.
Ties the game.
And then they win it in, I think, 15 innings.
Oh, man.
16 maybe. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember that well for very different reasons. Jeez. Oh, what a great call that was by. I know people rip on Joe Buck. I think Buck actually is better at baseball than football. He let that thing breathe.
Yeah, let the fans ride.
I mean, that was
No problem
fantastic.
with him calling the game. It's the stuff in between the calls.
Fair enough. It's a great moment for Alex Gordon. Doesn't mean he's a Hall of Famer, all right? I'm sorry. There's no way.
Salvi won MVP. I would say he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And because of the position as well, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, the position matters. Salvi's a no-brainer Hall of Famer. First ballot kind of a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. Mark is just obsessed with Dick Whipple. He just can't get enough of the guy trolling me on Facebook. I mean, Mark is just, boy, he is beside himself. You get this guy going on some potty humor, he just can't stop.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, I know it is.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
It's been a minute, so hang in there, Mark. You still got an hour and a half to go in the show, okay, buddy? You going to be okay? You going to do all right?
Yeah.
Is KU playing tonight?
Yeah, they play Duke in the Champions Classic.
Oh, that's
Big
right. Tonight's Duke KU, and then they're going to announce the college football playoff rankings probably between those two games at Madison Square Garden.
Yep. So right before the KU game, they'll have the college football playoff ranking.
Which is the second game of the night?
Yeah, KU plays at 8.
Okay.
So
the KU game is at 8 p.m., and they'll do the playoff rankings before the game at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. KU is a 4.5-point underdog, but then they announced Darren Peterson wasn't going to play. Now they're 10.5-point underdogs.
Ooh, you like that?
I might take KU 10.5 on that one.
They're
I'm going to look at FanDuel.
They're begging you to take it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they are begging you to take the 10.5 on that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. They want you to do it, Mark. Don't do it.
I like their other players, though. I like KU's other players.
That's a tough spot in the Garden. It's going to be a lot more Duke than it is Kansas in the Garden tonight.
That's true.
I promise you that. Lot more Duke folks in that New York City area than Kansas folks. I'm just saying. A Prairie Village resident paid nearly $6,000 to acquire a hand recount of the votes received on the ballot question that asked if residents wanted to abandon Prairie Village's form of government. So John Cantrell successfully submitted his recount request, posted a $5,800 check in bonds to cover the costs. Man, I want to say that that's great screw you money, but I just think that's throwing money out the window.
Yeah.
$6,000 you're dropping on a recount. It wasn't even close.
No, that's what I was remembering. Wasn't it like 66-33 type thing?
Yeah, 64-36.
Yeah.
64-36.
It's not like, we got 10 votes difference here.
9,000 people cast their ballots. 5,800 people voted no. 3,100 people voted yes. So, 65-35. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're off by 2,700 votes.
We can find them.
I mean, shit. In Prairie Village, where are you looking? I mean, listen, it's not my money, so I don't much care. I guess the election offices have something to do now. But $6,000?
I don't know what would motivate me to part with that amount of money for what I'm presuming is going to be the end result.
Yeah.
Seems kind of obvious.
And the Prairie Village United folks, the people who wanted to change the way that the government was run in Prairie Village, they said they have nothing to do with this. I saw on their Facebook page, they're like, this does not involve us. We're totally out of the loop here. We are not supporting this. We lost, which I appreciate because this just, listen, every time your side loses, you can't just scream election interference or, the ballot this or the machine that. I mean, you just can't do it. Like, notice how there was no people on the right screaming about machines after Trump gets a landslide victory and wins every swing state. I mean, where was that? But then you get blown out in something you care about, and it's like, oh, man, these machines, man. No, you just lost, okay? And it sucks. Like, I didn't want them to lose, but you lost.
Right, and you didn't have an alternative to vote for. It was a yes or no question, just abandoned. So, I mean, what's the recount?
Yeah, well, apparently 2,700 votes. Find them somewhere, right? I mean, Corn Square, anyone see any? If you're driving through Corn Square, do you see any ballots flying around this morning? Anything you can pick up on the street corner that you might see up there in PV? I don't know. Probably not. But, man, I do not get it at all. I really don't. Thank you for your text messages that I'm seeing this morning on the text line. Many of you were out in St. Joe last night where I was emceeing an event on behalf of the Missouri GOP on a statewide level. That St. Joseph Country Club is beautiful. I'm trying to find a member now to take me out for 9 holes up there or something because that thing was just gorgeous. I didn't know what I was walking into. It reminded me of Southern Hills down in Tulsa where they played the PGA a few years ago. But it was a unifying event. They raised a ton of money up there. I don't want to share the exact number, but it was well into the 6 figures they shared. It was an event that was to honor the late Stan Herzog. You had a lot of the statewide political power players involved raising money ahead of next year's elections. And it was a great turnout. It was about unification, and it's really in many ways the opposite of what you see going on in Kansas. I mean, I'm looking around between the Johnson County GOP, Kansas GOP. I mean, there are good people involved, very good people involved. I'm just saying, you don't see that level of unification as what you saw last night up in St. Joe. It was a great event and a lot of really good people up there, great listeners as well. President Trump spoke yesterday at the McDonald's Impact Summit. And it was there that I learned that the President of the United States and John Anthony are really deep down brothers from another mother. That's what I learned yesterday. The President joked that he was the first former McDonald's fry cook to become the president, of course, referencing his 2024 campaign stop. And he then took a swipe at Kamala Harris, saying he was there longer than she was, even though she claimed to have worked at a McDonald's. One of the many brilliant things that came out of the 2024 campaign. You got to give Trump that. The fry cook move was fantastic. It was the ultimate troll. It worked. It was fun. It brought attention to it. It was great. And then the president said this last night during his speech.
Because no matter who you are, everyone loves something at McDonald's. There's always something to have. I like the fish. I like it. You could do a little bit more tartar sauce, though, please.
The struggle is real, brother.
Oh, man. You know, I knew that there was something else about Trump that I wasn't going to like, and I have found it. This guy likes filet of fish with you, John.
I like the fish.
I like the fish. Now, is he right about the tartar sauce?
Yep.
See, if it was good fish, you wouldn't need the tartar sauce, guys.
No, I don't know about that.
If I could ever interview Trump, and I'm hopeful still that one day it will happen, I will ask him about the filet of fish, okay? Let's all remember that. And the listeners as well. Remind me, if and when we can book Trump before his time is up in 2029, we will ask him about the filet of fish.
Filet-o fish.
Filet-o fish.
Yep.
All right? The one time I got that filet-o fish, it was at a McDonald's in Lenexa. And John asked me to get it and try it for myself because I was knocking it, but in fairness, I had not tried it. And I think I ate a half of it. I brought it home. I said to Kate, do you want to try a bite of this? She said, throw that thing in the garbage. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That was enough for me.
It would upset delicate digestive systems, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm just looking at it and saying, if you guys...
the quality varies from restaurant to restaurant. You may have got a bad one, so try another one.
Oh, that's an excuse to spend another $9 on a nasty fish sandwich.
Touché.
Oh, my gosh.
There's crack in that tartar sauce.
Well,
that's why I keep going back.
Well, that's fine then. Then the fish isn't any good. You guys are raving about the tartar sauce. What's that say about the fish? I mean, someone's got to answer this for me. If the filet-o fish, sorry, not filet of, filet-o fish is all you guys hype it up to be, then why do you need the tartar sauce? It's like asking for A1 on a great steak. You don't need it, okay? If it's a great steak, you don't need the steak sauce. Really?
Well, I don't need steak sauce with a steak, but they're not prepared the same way.
Yeah, but my point is you don't need sauce in general if you got a good piece of meat.
Tastes fishy.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. And at McDonald's, it's extra nasty.
There you
Oh
go.
man, come on, Trump, he's killing me. Here, I'm just thinking he's a quarter pounder guy. I can respect that. Now he's with John Anthony in the Filet-O-Fish lane.
And many French fries.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Mark. Excellent point as well. Oh my gosh, you guys are killing me.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money.
Yeah, not for Filet-O-Fish. That's for darn sure. No way, no how. I'm out, man. On the text line, Pete, who cares? The McRib is back.
Aw, snap.
Is it? I didn't see that.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, man.
I saw a commercial for it, so yeah.
Okay. Shows you how much I'm paying attention.
I do have line, and that is one of them.
What it?
Don't eat a McRib.
Don't eat a McRib?
Don't.
Wow, that's
Unlike
wow,
you on
that's
the fish,
rich.
I tried it once.
The guy who raves about the Filet-O-Fish has drawn the line at the McRib.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from KC, you can't get a McRib.
Give me 10 McRibs
Touche.
over one Filet-O-Fish. Now you guys are wrong again.
Contest is on.
Okay. All right.